Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to this daily cricket show with your host Ram. And I'm really welcoming you all to this daily cricket show. Unfortunately, my throat is a bit sore here, but as I've always been telling on this show, that cricket is very very dear to me, so probably you will find that the enthusiasm might be lacking a bit, but I'm sure you're you're such wonderful blokes out there watching my cricket happening show that you have a clear understanding of what I'm actually about to do, and how while doing this cricket show, which I do it with the utmost passion, suddenly you might see I might be springing to life with this cricket show. So let's start off without any further ado on the cricket happening show today. And on this cricket happening show, there was a thrilling match which was played at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata today. And this three-match ODI series was an example, as more than 3,000 runs were scored in this three-match ODI series. I mean, such was the power of this ODI series between India and England. Not 3,000, it was close to it was 2,090 runs, and that is a record. This is the highest ever runs scored in a three-match ODI series. What a match it was! Once again, for the third time in succession, we had a chase of more than 300 runs where India failed in the final hurdle, with Deepak Jadhav at the crease trying to pilot his team to victory. And well, it all started with 16 runs needed of the final over, which was bowled by Chris Wokes. And what a brilliant beginning to that over when Deepak Jadhav slammed Chris Wokes through the point region for the backward point for a magnificent six. And then to make it more difficult for England, he slammed a boundary of the very next delivery by reaching to a ball which was wide outside the off stump. But later on, Chris Wokes came in brilliant fashion. He came back in brilliant fashion to actually bowl two dot balls and add the pressure, and also picked up the wicket of Deepak Jadhav. And Deepak Jadhav trying to slam one more delivery in the similar fashion that he did it in the first when he hit a six, but this time it went to the fielder and he was gone. And finally, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar was left with an onerous task of hitting Chris Wokes for a six of the final ball, which never happened, and England won the match by 5 runs. And this win is something that put a lot of smiles on the England players' faces. The reason being, on their England tour of India, this was their first win. With in whatever format you can say, this was their first win. But what a match we had! I mean, you couldn't have had such a better meaty clash than India and England, I would say. So that is as far as that match is concerned, which I'll be talking about. The fourth ODI between Australia and Pakistan sealed matters for Pakistan. I mean, basically Australia sealed the series with a 3-1, with a scoreline reading 3-1 in the 5-match ODI series. The final one-day international, which is coming up, the Adelaide Oval on Australia Day, which is going to be a mere formality, but Australia will definitely love to finish it off on great high on their day, that is on Australia Day. As this particular match between Australia and Pakistan, Australia ran up a huge total of 353, with David Warner leading the way with yet another century, and a spanking century at that. 113 of 119 deliveries, 11 fours and 2 sixes. And also Australia has to thank Pakistan for Sharjeel Khan dropping 2 catches, Hassan Ali dropping 2 catches, and both Hassan Ali and Sharjeel Khan were guilty of dropping absolute sitters, I would say. And not only that, the fielding effort from the Pakistan was very, very dismal, They dropped catches, they fumbled in the field, there were overthrows. I mean, the bowling was not on the mark, and there were simply a lot of problems for Pakistan as Australia raised a monumental 353, which always was going to be difficult as Pakistan required the highest chase on Australian soil, which they never could do. And then finally, the Pakistan innings, they were all out for 267, Australia winning by 86 runs, and thus taking the series. As I said, they have taken a winning lead in the series 3-1 with the Australia Day match, which is going to be a mere formality. But Australia, I'm sure on Australia Day, they wouldn't like to disappoint the huge crowd which is going to be turning up on Australia Day at the Adelaide Oval, and I'm sure they would like to put it across Pakistan. And the other match that I would like to talk about is a match which was played today between South Africa and Sri Lanka. It was the second T20. All eyes were on Sri Lanka, if at all they had to make the series alive, and they definitely did that. And now they definitely did that, but one thing I have to say, that it was the Sri Lankan skipper, Angelo Matthews, who was actually limping. I mean, he pulled his hamstring, and in fact, they required 9 runs for the final over, and it was Angelo Matthews with a limping, actually hit 2 sixes of smuts in the final over to clinch the issue for Sri Lanka, thus paving the way for A.B. de Villiers of South Africa to come in, A.B. de Villiers of South Africa to come in, and probably gave the South African a series win, as the latest reports which are coming in from South Africa says that he slammed a century with 11 fours and 2 sixes in a game, which was his first game after his comeback from injury, and that really would have sent some real danger signs for Sri Lanka as the final T20 will be played. And now both South Africa and Sri Lanka are level as far as the T20 series is concerned. And will A.B. de Villiers come there and take South Africa to victory in the final T20 match, which A.B. de Villiers probably is going to play. So one would look and South Africa will be hoping that A.B. de Villiers does not get any runs, but A.B. de Villiers already has sounded the boards here. As I said, after his comeback from injury, he has already slammed a century to start proceedings. And one knows how dangerous A.B. de Villiers can be, and especially in T20, he's a 360-degree player, as you all know. Well, from here, so now let's get on to that magnificent chase that happened between India and England. So the match was played at Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Eden Gardens in Kolkata, as I said yesterday, there was a lot of grass on the pitch, and definitely it was a pitch which was definitely making the bowlers interested. But one probably didn't think that it would raise such a huge score. But given the ability of the India and England batsmen, also the talent that they possess, one was not really surprised that another 300 figure was raised on the board. India actually was the one who won the toss, and looking at the pitch, Virat Kohli decided, and he had nothing to lose, as you know, Virat Kohli, so he decided to actually insert the Englishman in. And I have to say, the start was very good. Bhuvneshwar Kumar was absolutely on the money. Jason Roy and Sam Billings could not get off to that real brisk start they were probably wanting, as the ball was moving around beautifully, and both Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Hardik Pandya were really posing questions for the England batsmen, and in the process Jason Roy and Sam Billings were really kept very quiet by Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Hardik Pandya with the new ball, as the ball started swinging all the way. And also there was little bounce on the pitch, there was a good pace on the pitch, and England would have been very happy to see such a pitch. And England started off, as I said, in a very quiet fashion, but later on, once that was over, we saw Jason Roy get into his own by actually putting Ravindra Jadeja for a 6 of the very first delivery he faced from him. And Sam Billings was also playing around Jason Roy by really nurdling away the runs there as the score reached. But nevertheless, it was a very good start given by both the openers, as Jason Roy and Sam Billings got the score on to 98 for the first wicket, which was pretty good going, one thought. But later on, it was Jadeja who actually picked up the wicket. He forced Sam Billings to attempt a reverse sweep, and in the process Sam Billings fell to Jadeja for 58 deliveries with 5 fours. The next to go was Jason Roy, who has got his third 50 In 3 matches, he has scored 350, and today he was out for 65. And again, also one more similarity is that Jadeja was the man who has been taking his wickets with customary regularity. And once again, the third wicket, even today, Jason Roy fell to Ravindra Jadeja as he was trying to hoik Jadeja, and in the process he was clean bowled by Jadeja for 65 of 56 deliveries, 10 fours and 1 6. Jonathan Barristow contributed a neat looking 56 of 64 balls with 5 fours and 1 6. Morgan clattered 43 of 44 deliveries with 2 fours and 3 6, both becoming victims of Pandya. And Pandya pulled a good spell in the middle stages where he picked up 3 important wickets with Barristow, Morgan and Butler. And Butler looked listless today. He was kept quiet as well. 11 of 15 balls with 1 4. But it was only thanks to Ben Stokes and Chris Woakes really walking into this Indian bowling and really slamming them, especially Ben Stokes, who finished with an unbeaten 57 of 39 deliveries, 4 fours and 2 6s. Chris Woakes hitting 34 of just 19 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6. When was out for 2. And in England managed to reach a very good score of 321 on a very, very pacey and a bouncy pitch. As far as the bowling was concerned, Bhuvneshwar Kumar 8 overs, none for 56. Pandya was the best bowler at 10 overs, 1 made and 49 runs and 3 wickets. Got the ball to swing as well. Jasprit Bumrah 10 overs, 1 made and 1 for 68. Yuvraj Singh 3 overs for 17. Jadeja picked up 2 for 62 of his 10. And Ashwin once again, did not really prove effective. His 9 overs started for 60 runs. Now it was the turn for India to actually chase the target, and look at what happened. India had today, they dropped Shikhar Dhawan, they brought in Ajinkya Rahane into the mix, and one has to say that one felt very, very sorry for England because Willie was the man who actually picked up the wicket of Ajinkya Rahane first up, as he got a very good big in-swinger going, and Ajinkya Rahane's stumps were clattered as he was bowled by Willie for 1. And I have to say that David Willey was looking good, and it was very sad to see that David Willey had to leave very early on after just bowling 2 overs when he actually pulled his shoulder, and I thought that was a big blow for England. So keeping in view that David Willey was not there, one has to give credit to England for actually winning this match. So definitely they were minus Willie, and that was the big wicket he got. As he got Ajinkya Rahane with a deep in swinger. After that, KL Rahul decided to chance his arm in the very first over itself when he slammed Chris Woakes for a 6, but it was Matthew Ball who picked up his wicket, caught by Butler for 11 with offense mini balls, 1 4 and 1 6. Virat Kohli played in his usual admirable fashion as he scored 55 of 63 8 fours. Yuvraj Singh was looking into his element today, and those pulls and all were really coming in with lots of disdain, as he was he was really making batting sound easy when he was actually basically pulling the ball beautifully through the mid-wicket region, which was good to see, as he plundered 57 deliveries with 5 fours and 1 6, and we saw that was the dismissal. That was the shot that actually brought his dismissal, as he was caught by Billings in the fence. Mahendra Singh Dhoni made 25, 36 deliveries, 1 4 and 1 6. So definitely India were put a bit under pressure when Dhoni was gone, and India's score reached 173 for 5 in 32 overs. But hope was still there with Deepak Jadhav at the crease along with Hardik Pandya. And Deepak Jadhav and Hardik Pandya did a wonderful turn for India. In fact, they brought India closer to the target when they put up a wonderful partnership of 104 runs, which was done in 14 overs. Especially Kedar Jadhav, we saw that there was a very good captaincy on the part of Morgan, as he had plugged all the gaps that Kedar Jadhav was good at, but still Kedar Jadhav managed some brilliant strokes, I thought, especially straight down the ground, and also he's a good player on the leg side too, and he was really using his skills to actually maneuver the gaps there, which was good to see, as Jadhav was doing well. Pandya, he contributed in his own way, and he got his maiden 50, as he made 56 of 43 deliveries, 4 fours and 2 sixes, and Kedar Jadhav was there. Jadeja stroke 10, but one thought that Jadeja probably, after hitting 2 fours of Woakes, would have probably shown a bit of restraint, as there was no need for him to hit another boundary, and in the process he fell for 10 of 6 deliveries. And also Ravichandran Ashwin, one thought, he probably should not have attempted, especially considering the fact that Kedar Jadhav was at the crease and he was the man. So definitely, if Ravindra Jadeja and Ashwin would have really observed a bit of restraint in not playing that strokes, and probably they could have actually given the task to probably Kedar Jadhav, especially Jadeja. After hitting 2 4s, there was no need for hit a third boundary, and in which he faltered. And finally, as I said in my report, that Jadhav hit a 6 under 4 of the final over, and 16 runs were recorded of the final over for India to win. A 6 under 4 was hit. After that, there were 2 dot balls, and Vokes came in really strongly after that and saw to it that England had the victory, their first win on their tour of India, and 316 for 9. The bowling, Vokes 2 for 75 was costly, but in the final over, he did a final. I thought on the final bend, it was Chris Vokes who was the victor after being hit for 6 under 4 of the first 2 balls when 16 were required by Deepak Jadhav. But I thought he did a splendid bowling from Chris Vokes to clinch the issue for England. David Willey, unfortunately going out, but still, as I said, England deserve credit. Even though Willey was looking very sharp after taking the wicket of Rahane, I think David Willey was really missed, but nevertheless, England deserve credit for this victory. Ball 10 overs 256, bowled well. Plunkett 10 overs 1 for 65. Stokes 3 for 63, bagged the man of the match award to add up to his 57. Moeen Ali 8 overs, no mids, none for 41. Thus in the 3-match series ended with India winning the 3-match series 2-1. Ben Stokes was player of the match, and the player of the series and the find of the series for India was Kedar Jadhav with his brilliant batting, and it was rightly so. So let's skim through the other matches now. The 4th ODI, Australia versus Pakistan. As I'm short of time here, Australia actually raising a big total of 353 for 6 of the 50 overs against Pakistan at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and David won. And the good thing for Australia happened was that they have been lacking sort of the opening starts, which has been lacking. But today the opening starts came, and that came in a big way, as David Warner went on to slam 130 of just 119 deliveries, 11 fours and 2 sixes. Usman Khwaja clattering 30, making 30 of 49 balls with 2 fours. Stephen Smith 49 of 48 balls with 5 fours. Travis Head slamming 51 of 36 deliveries, 2 fours and 4 sixes. Glenn Maxwell really hitting the boundary ropes time and again with a very quick fire knock of 78 of just 44 deliveries, 10 fours and 1 6, and in the end it was 353 on the board for Australia. As I said, the problem for Pakistan happened to be they leaked a lot of runs with a very, very poor fielding effort. One thought, 4 drop catches, especially by Shahjeel Khan too, and Hassan Ali too. But Hassan Ali had his maiden 5-wicket haul in ODI cricket. 10 overs on maiden, 52 runs and 5 wickets. Mohammad Hafiz 9 overs, none for 54. Mohammad Ahmed 1 for 75. Junaid Khan taken to the cleaners yesterday. 10 overs cost him 82. Umad Wasim was also received a bit of a real tick there. 9 overs, low mids, none for 69. Shoaib Malik done for 13. Pakistan, faced with a target of 353, had to chase their highest ever chase on Australian soil, which never happened. They were on for 267. Shahjeel Khan was the biffer, 74 of 47 ball, 10 fours and 3 sixes, but did well at the bat, but definitely failed in the field. Azhar Ali was out for 7. Babar Azam 31 of 39, 4 fours. Mohammad Hafiz 40 of 40 deliveries, 3 fours and 1 6. Shoaib Malik 47 of 61, 1 4, 1 6. Other than that, there was not much to talk about. Barring Umad Wasim contributed 24, and that was a victory for Australia and also the series as they led the 5-match series 3-1. 3 for 54 for Hazelwood, 3 for 55 Adam Zampa, 2 for 66 for Travis Head. So that is as far as that match is concerned. Now let's look into the other match which we are talking about, the T20 match, the final T20 match that happened between Sri Lanka and South Africa. South Africa making 113, so definitely good bowling from the Sri Lankan bowlers today. They were on the money and they restricted the South Africans 113. The highest scorer being Hino Kun, who slammed 29 of 20 deliveries, 1 4 and 2 sixes. And it was a good T20 debut for Lakshan Sandakan, the Chinaman spinner, as he picked up 4 wickets for 23 on his T20 debut. As far as Sri Lanka were concerned, they were given a task 113. It was, in fact, the start was not good. Dikwala dealt in boundaries, 5 fours in his knock of 22 of 15 balls. It's good to see. Nigiri did a fine job. I thought he picked up 4 wickets on the top of the order, which was good to see. And he looked to me very impressive. Look at his bowling figures. 4 overs, no maiden, 19 runs and 4 wickets. Only playing his second international match, and he looked very impressive with his pace and bounce there. Dequala 22, 2 Silva, 4 Kushal Mendes, Chandimal 22, but it was Angelo Matthews who was there till the end, especially considering the fact 9 runs really got to the final over. Angelo Matthews with limping with a hamstring, where runners were not given, had to take had to really take the onus, and he slammed 2 sixes of Joe Smuts to actually clinch the issue for Sri Lanka, as Sri Lanka finished at 119 for 7, a 3-wicket victory for Sri Lanka. And Nigidi, what a splendid bowling spell from him. This guy looks really impressive. 4 overs no made, 4 for 19, and Parnell 1 for 16. A player of the match going to Angelo Matthews, the Sri Lankan captain. So the T20 series is at 1-1 right now, and as I said, it definitely looks with South Africa, if at all, they will have to win the T20 series, and I think it is time to summon AB de Villiers, the king of South Africa, to the crease in the final T20 match, which will be coming up. And I think with AB de Villiers coming up, and especially considering the fact that he's come back from his injury, and in a local game, on the very first game, he went on to slam a century. That's not good news for Sri Lanka, and I'm sure that is going to herald, it is going to be the new beginning for AB de Villiers, but nevertheless, it could bring victory for South Africa in the T20 series with him coming back into the final T20. That really wraps up my Cricket Happening show for today. Hope you all enjoyed it, and wait for my next cricket broadcast, which will be coming tomorrow. Till such time, it's your host Ram signing off. Thank you.